Okay, so here on a bit of a delayed review on the Legacy Evolution Skyquake. Now, this figure, I'm not going to go into it, but this was a pain in the ass for me to get, and not in like the way for Menasor, where like it took me a while to get Dead End and Breakdown, which, by the way, I finally finished Menasor, so I might make a video on him. Um, but this guy, I got him um right before a vacation and didn't really have the time to make a review, and then I got back and just didn't have the energy to do it, and I thought might as well do it now before I just forget to, because I like doing these. I know a lot of you guys like seeing them, and this guy, he has a lot of good, but he also has a lot of bad, unfortunately. Like, a lot of this guy does a lot of cool stuff, but a lot of him is also really bad. And I started him off holding his weapon because it's really a pain to get him to, like, get there. So I'll just start off with the weapons. Oh, hold on. Well, here, while we're at it, here's an issue. He has no heals, and you can, like, kind of bring the boosters back, but that does nothing. It's not even for the transformation, so you kind of just have to... Oh, nope, that's the app crunch. You kind of just have to make him, like, lean forward. But anyway, back to the weapon. You get technically two weapons because you get a minigun with a ball jointed handle up here, so you can adjust his second grip, but then you get... Try not to break it. Then you get this, which you can flip out to get a sword, which I think is pretty cool. It's like a weapon storage that makes you think it's like, oh, it's just like clear, like ammo, I guess. That's what people have been saying, but unfortunately, if you can see that, it has like a peg sculpted onto it, so you can only hold it in this hand. Come on. It's also a pain to get into his hand just to begin with. There we go. So you can only hold it in that hand, unless you want him to hold it like this. And this isn't like the Laser Optimus Prime, where you can just swivel it once it's in his hand, because the peg goes all the way up, which is kind of stupid because it has no reason to be like that. But anyway, now that we're done with accessories, let's get to the actual main figure. Once I can fit this back in. There we go. So, for one, this is probably the best looking out of the Prime characters so far. We've, by this point, Dreadwing has been revealed, and while I'm an enjoyer of blue myself, I think this guy does look a little better. I don't know. Both of them rock their color schemes really well. Skywing, or Sky... No, this is Skyquake. Dreadwing does look a little better with the color scheme, but I don't know. This guy just works better. Okay, I'm just gonna get my opinion out of the way. The figure is technically good, but I won't be getting Dreadwing, so I'll just get away. So first of all, good things. I've already said it, looks good. He can, for a character that's supposed to fly, he can actually look up, so you can have poses like he's actually flying. You can get like the boosters or the heels, and since every character needs to have 5mm ports in their heels now, or just anywhere in their feet, since I think it's meant to be for like the Battle Master system or whatever it was called. You can put blast effects in there. You know, when they used to include them. He has a lot of ratchets, like That one's softer. Okay, here. There we go. Oh yeah, and the arms. The arms are ratcheted for no reason, and they sound really weird. But this one, I kind of busted that ratchet going out because I was showing my friend it, and then it kind of just lost all its clicks. It still holds, but it doesn't sound good anymore. It's like all the ratchets on this guy are like pretty weird. Speaking of pretty weird, the backpack. Let me see if I can. Also, yeah, the shoulder pads are separate from the shoulders. In some ways, this helps, and in a lot of ways, this doesn't help. Like, especially when you're trying to get him to two-hand the minigun. Also, his shoulder doesn't really like sit anywhere, so a lot of the times it just like does that. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be aimlessly talking. I hope you're ready for that. Yeah, so you can see here, there seems to be a tab that could be going to there, but then you like try to force it up and it doesn't want that. It's kind of how this thing is built. Now, there are fixes online, but I'm just not the person to go to for that because I'm not really the person to change toys from their, I guess, factory default, unless it's like broken by factory default. Now, one thing that you may have noticed that I'm just gonna take from someone else is that this elbow looks like this, and this elbow looks like this, and this one looks like some of the recent Gamer Edition ones where the elbow will pull off. Well, clearly it can't do that because it's pinned in. Well, in the show, he loses this hand and it starts to like crawl around going after the humans. Well, I think they realized that this is just like a little too small and could be a little fragile, so they decided to skip out on that functionality, and seeing how most of the Gamer Edition ones end up having that functionality get loose anyway, I think they made the right decision. And also, really my last problem before we get into like posability and transformation, well, it's technically part of posability. He has two knee bends, but really you're only going to want to use this one because if you use, come on, actually I'm not going to force it. If you use this one, it literally locked on me. These knees, the top knee bends, can lock, and there's no way to unlock them unless you force them. You can try and unscrew them. I tried to unscrew them, and it stripped the screws, because they're tiny. So just, you can use that second bend, but try not to do it too much. It could be just mine, because I didn't see anyone else talking about it, but I'd say better be safe than sorry. Articulation, there's not that much noteworthy other than like barely the pivot. Not barely the pivot. He barely has a pivot. It's really just that. Due to the transformation, he has a crotch swivel. For some reason, you can untab the nose cone and give him an ab crunch, but then you have to tab it back in. That's not even for the transformation. I don't know why. I guess it's for clearance. And another thing to do with the transformation is a double bend, because of that we'll get to in a second. Alright, speaking of which, I guess we'll just get to that now. This is one of those figures where the transformation is interesting enough where I'll show it to you despite the fact that it can be rather annoying. The transformation is one of those things where it's like, it can be both an upside and a downside depending on who you are. Actually, I start by getting the shoulder things out of the way. Then you're going to want to get the arms out of the way, or not out of the way, out. Then you're going to want to collapse the elbows. This is why they have a double bend and why this is shaped weirdly. Oop, don't fall on me. And then there is a panel to cover up where the hands go. Also, you have the wrist swivel, which you're going to have to use when you transform them because they get caught easily. Okay, and now you extend the torso and split the back. You're going to want to swivel, come on, swivel these sections around. Swivel the waist 90. Bring these sections to the front. And then swivel, swivel the waist back to where it is. This is probably why this hinge is there, just to help get it out of the way. And then put it back together. And now it looks weird. Alright. Now you're going to want to get these out of the way. This is where stuff's going to start like clinging together, but you're just going to have to deal with it. Now this is a step that I for some reason knew but kind of forgot. You're going to have to slide the head back. There's a slider joint that you can see better when the head's up. So you're going to want to make sure it's up. I'm trying to, yeah, like that. I want to make sure it's up. Oh, come on. Get stuff out of the way, and then like that. And then this is one of those annoying parts. And that's going up, landing gear down. And now you don't got to worry about that till the end. Now bring the arms together. And then there are like two like little slots there and like this section. It's almost like a tabs. That always sounds weird. And now here, which is can be a little confusing, but not really. You're gonna want to like bring the legs out a little bit. Take this, bring it out, and then like that. And then fold the toe in until it clicks. And then you want to do that, swivel it, bend this. And then the wing has a tab and there's a slot. Whoop. Ah, come on. Alright, once you got that, make sure everything up here is lined up. And then bring these shoulder pad sections to go right here. This section is probably the most finicky because you got to make sure everything's lined up properly. And then you got a really good jet mode. Like, this is probably my favorite part of the figure because it's a really cool jet mode. You got a lot of, the red shines through a lot more because really you just saw these on the underwings and a little bit on the arms. Whereas now, you get all of this that was on the back side of the wings, this that was hidden in the legs, and this. Okay, I guess you saw this when you turned it around as well. Also, if you turn it around, you get 3 boosters, and I didn't even notice this at first, but the top one, since it's made out of, this whole section's clear plastic. This is clear plastic, or I guess it's not whole clear plastic. It has inserts. So this has a clear plastic insert. And also, it has landing gear here, here, and here. It's all molded, so there's no wheels, but at least you can lay it down. And really the last thing I have to say is that the weapon storage kind of sucks. It would be cool if it actually worked, because you're supposed to put this here, Okay, never mind. Of course it works now. Okay, this is a... Okay, of course this is the first time I get it to work. Why did it never work before? Okay, look. When it works, it's cool. When it doesn't, it sucks. When it does work, it's cool because it's like one of those planes that has the minigun that comes down and fires hell. I could only do like this before. God, okay. Well, that was my last point. I was expecting to be like, well, it doesn't work, but apparently I just sucked. Also, you could put it on the shoulders and under the wings, but oh yeah, and I don't have them yet. I will soon, but if you get needle nose, you can put them on top in reference to G1. Okay, bye.